If you think about all the professions, and if you want to consider what we're going to be doing a profession instead of a trade, well, physicians are board certified, right? A lot of occupations require certification that's based on proficiency training and proficiency testing. Without that, you just have a piece of paper. At no time that I could ever remember when techs had more leverage than they have right now. So if you invest in yourself, attending training, events like this, even going online, listening to podcasts like this, doing the things that establish to get your mind right, to increase your skill, and the value that you offer to an employer, you can move from employer to employer till you find someone that appreciates that which it is you do. I want you to remember something, son. You can delegate all the authority in the world, your role as captain, and none of the responsibility.
You're listening to the Limitless Leadership Podcast, the podcast designed to help automotive repair shops learn how to lead, coach, train, and manage their team better by sharing proven techniques and thought-provoking interviews from industry leaders. Are you ready to transform your leadership skills by tapping into unrecognized potential to achieve limitless results? Let's get ready for liftoff. It's time to go from great to greater. Here's today's episode.
Hey folks, running an auto repair shop, it's tough. We know that. And between managing repairs, keeping customers happy, and handling front office tasks, there's never enough time in the day. That's where HubShop Solutions comes in. Hub takes the burden off your team by building fast, accurate repair estimates and handling extended warranties, so you can focus on what really matters, running a profitable, efficient shop. With Hub, you free up your team, you boost efficiency, and you increase profits. So sign up now and get free onboarding. Visit hubshopsolutions.com to schedule a demo today. HubShop Solutions. Unlock your shop's full potential. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Limitless Leadership Podcast. We are live on site at the 2025 ASTA Expo. And before we get started, as always, I will ask that you not forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the things you need to on social media to help this podcast reach people and build leaders. That, of course, is our mission statement, to reach people and build leaders. And I'm joined by a couple incredible leaders, one of which has a long history, maybe I'm dating you, a long history in the industry, very well respected, highly regarded, always a pleasure to meet with the one, the only Mr. Dutch Silverstein and his beautiful daughter, Anna Silverstein. Thank you both for being here on Limitless Leadership Podcast.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. It's okay, Anna. You can say something.
Thank you.
Anna, if you could step up
Sure.
to just a pinch. So, our guest is Dutch and Anna. Dutch, you have, you are a jack of all trades. You've had quite the journey, quite the career, and multiple careers. You're a former American Airlines captain.
Correct.
You're also as you would describe, a shop owner / former shop owner, a failed retiree.
Yeah.
Share with the audience who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and then we can get right into today's episode.
Sure. For 26 years, I owned and operated A&M Auto Service in Pineville, North Carolina. June of 24, June 30th was the last day that we opened, and I decided it was time to retire. Somebody came up and made me a tremendous offer for the business and property. I divested myself, and I thought, finally, I get to relax. I'm going to be retired. And initially, it's great because you can sleep in. You don't have to worry about phone calls. You can take a nap whenever you want. And then you realize that I'm not any good at retirement. I failed retirement miserably. So I have a 3,000 square foot garage that I operate out of about 30 minutes from my home. And it's kind of like a boutique shop in that I'll only work with the clients that I had for years. I had 3 generations from same families.
Wow.
So if they are willing to work with my schedule and not be in a rush, I'll work with them. But I don't do oil changes there. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. It's somebody that wants me to look at the car because that's what happens.
And are you the one working on their car?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just me.
So let's hear about your journey. So as I shared, you were a former American Airlines captain. Can you share with the audience your story, background, and what got you into automotive, and also what you're doing today.
Yeah, I came from a working class family. My mother was a school teacher. My father didn't graduate college. He was a photographer. And, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I fell in love with aviation. And my father said, well, if you're going to want to fly, which is what I wanted to do, I'll match the money that you put back towards. So I had to learn to work. And the issue for me is I have very few talents. I am the world's worst athlete. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't do anything. But for some reason, I believe in His infinite wisdom. The good Lord gives everybody a gift. Mm-hmm. And my gift was I understand how things work. It just seems to make sense to me. So I started, like a lot of guys, fixing bicycles, lawnmowers, everything in the neighborhood. And I saved up enough money, and I would go flying for an hour. And then it would take me 3 weeks again before I could do that. And I did that. I became a mechanic for Sears, first a small engine mechanic, and then I graduated to the car line, and we were doing brakes and, the standard stuff that most everybody does. And from there, I attended a university or a college rather, and learn how to, that's where I got my first private pilot's license. And then continued at that point, worked my way up the ladder until such time as I got hired on by a company that was bought out. Empire Airlines was bought out by Piedmont Airlines. Piedmont Airlines was bought out by US Air. US Air then merged with America West, so it's one right after the other.
Wow.
The airline US Air declared bankruptcy twice, and I lost all of my retirement.
Oh, wow.
And then back in 2004, I had a routine blood test where they discovered that there was something wrong, and they told me that, listen, you could have leukemia. So we're going to do a bone marrow biopsy and put you on chemotherapy for this. And when that happened, the FAA revoked my medical certificate because you need a medical as well as your license to fly. Mm-hmm. Well, I had been working 7 days a week for 9 years because I never trusted aviation. It's incredibly cyclical. So I transitioned from doing part-time work on the side as it was flying 20 to 22 days a month, and then I would wind up going back and working in a garage. My friend had sublet space out to me, and then when he decided to move to Florida, I bought the building from him, and the rest is history, and I just retired thereafter. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks, as you know, great leadership isn't about doing everything the best. It's actually about having the right partners in your corner to build your shop's success. It's about putting the right team in place. It's about choosing the right vendors to make you a pro, making pro moves. And when I think about the pros, I think about shop marketing pros. The know, like, and trust factor, that's a real thing. And Shop Marketing Pros understands that. That's why I want to recommend Shop Marketing Pros to become your marketing partner in your shop. They get to know, like, and trust you and your business to then help your audience get to know, like, and trust you too, and bring your shop to the next level. So when I talk about making pro moves, this is the kind of move I'm talking about. This is the kind of standard-setting partnership that's going to elevate your shop. So if you're ready to become a pro in your shop, visit shopmarketingpros.com and partner with the best. Excellent. Can you speak to, I'm going to jump completely into a different topic, but I'm going to revisit some things that you just shared. When you talked about being at the airlines and there was 4 buyouts or three buyouts,
There's
4 companies.
A bunch of them, yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of folks in our industry who they go from shop to shop, or maybe there's just change after change. Like turnover in our industry is not great. And we know that it costs a shop owner 6 to 9 months of a team member's salary to replace them. Mm-hmm. Speak to the listening audience who is struggling to find stability, whether it be because of poor leadership, whether it be because of whatever, training, coaching, whatever. How do you find stability and grow in spite of the constant changes?
The first thing you do is you invest in yourself.
Okay.
At no point in history that I can remember, and you got to remember that I started, like I said, way back. It's over 50 years now, approximately, just about 50 years in the auto industry, right? Because I started out part-time and then worked for Sears, etc. At no time that I could ever remember when techs had more leverage than they have right now. So if you invest in yourself, attending training, events like this, even going online, listening to podcasts like this, doing the things that establish to get your mind right, to increase your skill and the value that you offer to an employer, you can move from employer to employer till you find someone that appreciates that which it is you do.
Yeah, that's good.
Because you got to remember the 1 out of 5 rule, right? And that is that for every one individual that's coming into the field, you got 5 old bastards like me that are retiring. Oh, I maybe shouldn't have said that B word.
It's okay.
But, all right, so we're retiring, we're dying, we're dying, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Well, that's creating a void, an appreciable void. And that void has got to be filled.
Yeah. You mentioned skill set a moment ago. Something that you and I talked about months ago in Mooresville, North Carolina, at the Fueling Connections event for the ASTA. This is where I got to know you a little bit more and learned that you are. First, I'll say this. I love how you're just like a tell it like it is kind of guy. Anna, would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Has he always been that way?
For as long as I can remember. So yeah.
So let me rabbit trail for a second. Like how beneficial is that when you have your father being clear and direct? Because clarity and direction are two things that every person needs and quite frankly deserves, especially professionally. But at home, how much did you value the fact that he was clear and direct, whether you like to hear it or not?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's interesting because we just talked about that at lunch, actually, because growing up, I think being clear and direct kind of comes across as being very strict. And I think he would agree with that.
Yeah.
Now that I'm an adult, I really appreciate it because I see the benefits of having a dad who, always set expectations for me. And it was always very apparent what would happen if I do and didn't meet those expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that in my work life, that's gone a very far way.
I love that. And if you're listening, it's very obvious that it translates into the work life. So if you struggle with providing clarity and direction, I'll first share that we get to create safety and trust so that we can provide clarity and direction. You got clarity and direction from your father because you feel safe with him. You trust him, of course. He's your father. And in a working relationship, you as a leader get to create safety and trust by connecting with your team in order to provide the clarity and direction that comes with it. But going back to what I initially started this question for, Dutch, in relation to when you and I connected at the Fueling Connections event, I learned more about who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in. And one of the things is the importance of, in relation to skill set, performance-based testing in comparison to what we're used to as standardized testing, where it's a lot of the written multiple choice type of testing. I mean, we know that technicians, or as Carm would like to say, mechanical specialists in our industry, they will take tests, become ASE certified from certain tests. Does that make them a great technician or a mechanical specialist? I would know that as you're an airline pilot with American Airlines or a captain with American Airlines, I would hope that you didn't just take a test on paper, but you actually flew before I jump on your airplane.
Yeah, it's imperative that if you want to have a meaningful credential, that credential must be based on proficiency training. And it has to be multi-step. And you're exactly right. You wouldn't get on an airplane and go flying someplace if the guy that you were flying with, the captain you were flying with, said, listen, this is great because I've passed my writtens. Well, did you take a verbal exam? No, I didn't take a verbal exam. And did you go up with an examiner, a flight examiner, to check it? No. Did you perform a maneuvers validation scenario? No. Emergency procedures? No. Well, what makes you think you're qualified to do this? Well, I passed the test and it was multiple choice.
Yeah.
And see, I got a 78 or an 80 or 100. That doesn't cut it.
Yep.
If you think about all the professions, and if you want to consider what we're going to be doing a profession instead of a trade, well, physicians are board certified, right? A lot of occupations require certification that's based on proficiency training and proficiency testing. Without that, you just have a piece of paper. I said a while ago, and this will certainly be upsetting, you give me a reasonably bright 9-year-old, you give me 3 weeks with them, and I'll have them pass their ASEs.
Yeah, you're right. That's scary.
Okay. And, you see, I appreciate those technicians that want to get those certificates because they want to improve themselves. I commend them for it. It's noble as hell. I think that should be rewarded. Mm-hmm. But there has to be more to it than just sitting down and taking multiple choice tests, because it doesn't prove anything.
What can we do as shop owners to ensure proficiency and hiring? I believe in hiring values over skill set. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that we don't want to hire skill set, but in my opinion, you want to prioritize values over skill set, because skill set can be taught and learned over time. Values is intrinsic. Values is something that comes from within. That's why core is Latin for heart. So core values is coming from within. You want to hire people who are coachable, intelligent, have the right attitude. That's a CIA team member. The I for intelligent is emotional intelligence. Do they have the self-awareness and situational awareness when working with guests or serving their team or leading their team? But in relation to what we can do as shop owners who are not only hiring people who can pass standardized test, but know that I'm hiring people who have share the same values as I do, but also who are truly skilled because of the proficiency testing or some type of assessment I'm giving them or providing. Like, what can we do? Like, what did you do as a shop owner to ensure that your mechanical specialist that you're bringing on board can actually do the work that's required to ensure that every vehicle is safe to drive?
Well, initially, because there wasn't any standard, I offered a test, especially about electrical. Here's a diagram. It's got window motors on it. Here's some switches. Here's some relays. Wire it for me. Just do it on paper. Show me that you understand. Explain to me Ohm's law. Just the simple things that someone would have to know. Now, could that be all book knowledge? Absolutely, it's possible. But what you can't cover is watching them work.
Yeah.
All right? If you tell a guy to do something and he does it with a certain degree of proficiency, he's done it before. Mm-hmm. If he stumbles through it, if he looks uncertain, doesn't matter what he tells you. Don't listen to what he tells you. Watch what he does.
Yeah.
Because there is no formalized program here where you can come up with your credentials and say, okay, this proves that I did this, and this. There is. You're familiar with AvTech?
Yes, I'm glad you brought them up. Yeah. Yep.
That's what they're starting to do.
Yeah.
And I think I'm an ardent supporter of that organization.
As am I.
Because of what it does. It's for the public safety. And a lot of it's going to get rid of the jacklegs that are in our trade who view what we do as a consolation prize because people weren't smart enough to get into college.
So Dave Mockholz is a friend of mine, and he is the founder of AvTech. Can you share with the audience more about AvTech and what they're bringing to the industry?
Well, what they want to do is, and it's really, really commendable. It's absolutely commendable. They want to, and they're going to start slowly, but they want to show that when you get certificated, that you've had to demonstrate proficiency, that you've actually done it, and you'll have evidence of having done it. Now, does that mean you're going to do it perfectly? No, you're a human being. You might make a mistake. But the fact is you're not going to fumble through it, and you're not going to be seeing it for the first time. Mm-hmm. You'll have done it. And then you're going to get tested on it. You're going to have to prove. It's not just a matter of, okay, you watch him over there, and then you're good to go. No, you're going to get tested on it. That's the whole point.
If I'm a customer at any local shop near me, and I know that one shop has credentials based on standardized and proficiency-based testing, performance-based testing, where I know and I can trust that they did the application, the applicable steps to gain these certifications, in comparison to another shop who has a good, great customer service, they get the job done, but to me, these credentials mean a lot. Like there's a level of safety, obviously, in our industry that is necessary in relation to the repairs, and we know that our industry, for the longest time, there's a black eye in our industry in relation to trust. Just being able to trust any shop, because if I'm the average customer, I don't know automotive like you do. I don't speak car like you do. Those of us in this industry, we speak multiple languages. We're bilingual, English, and perhaps your primary language, and car and automotive, but customers don't. And so those credentials and those proficiency-based tests go such a long way.
Well, see, and I'm going to have a difference of opinion respectfully about this, okay? The customer doesn't give a crap because they don't know to give a crap, okay? That's the problem. They're undereducated about any of it. They assume automatically, if you take somebody off the street, you pull them off the street, to them, a mechanic, that's the way I'm going to use it.
Yep, that's right.
The guy who changes the oil at Jiffy Lube is the exact same guy as the guy who does the diagnostic work at the dealership. He's just a mechanic. They assume that there's some level of certification, but they don't know anything about it. So one of the failures of an organization, and I'm not going to mention its name, whose initials are ASE, is that the lack of publicity and an educational campaign to show why those certificates, that certification is important, how it's relative to the average car owner or consumer. You know, so there are a lot of ideas that you can do, but how many times have you driven on the road and you see a car stalled off to the side of the road and the bottom of the tire, the top of the tire is kicked out, and you immediately know when you're seeing that, that's a ball joint that's let go. Okay? Well, why did it let go? Was that person advised, hey, look, you may have a problem with this? Or did somebody miss it? Because they don't know how to inspect ball joints? To the average consumer, they're assuming when you pull in the station and you have something done, it's done.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They don't, so for me, my concern for AvTech is educating the customer and picking up the ball where the certain organization whose name I won't name, whose initials are ASE, has dropped the ball. Because right now, in my opinion, the other organization is simply a money-making. That's it. You go and you pay for each test. The test expires. Guess what you get to do? You have the privilege of paying for each test all over again to renew. Okay? Now, the reasons to do it, professional development, I give whoever does that. And there's also, let's face it, there are a lot of shops where every certificate that you get, right, A1 through 8, means a bump in pay. So the guys that don't care about anything, but they memorize the books, the questions, they go online, they take the courses that are guaranteed to make the pass the exam because they want more money.
Yeah. So the reasonably bright 9-year-old who you have 3 weeks with
I'll guarantee it. I'll put up $10K. Right? We can have somebody hold the money in cash, $10,000. That says in 3 weeks I can have them go through A1 through 8. Pass.
Hey, I got a 9-year-old daughter, and I mean I'm biased because I'm her father, but she's very bright. I mean, hey, you got her for 3 weeks, and let's get her ASE certified.
Right now, obviously you would have to because she's not old enough. But we could do it as long as we got the exemption.
Yeah,
that's not a problem.
Yeah.
All right, because when you commit to the fact that hey, I have X amount of work experience, who verifies it?
Yeah, I mean, good question.
It's on the honor system, right?
Yeah,
nobody verifies. Nobody does any background checking that I'm aware of. And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me.
Yeah.
But in all the time that I've been doing this, nobody has ever called me and said, hey, so-and-so says he's ASE certified. Is that legit?
Yeah.
You know, so-and-so's applying for their ASE certification. They said they have 2 years. Has he been working with you for 2 years? Do you have an employment record to show that he's been working with anybody for 2 years?
Right. Yeah, it's all in the honor system. And you got to just, I'll say I believe that people are innocent until proven guilty. Someone shares their credentials. They say, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I do it. And we got to take their word for it. Along with the interview process that we go through, and then we'll see, are they really who they say they are? And oftentimes they're not.
See, the thing was that the organization used to be the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. Okay, that's when it started when I came in.
Okay.
And it was an excellent compromise in order to make sure that the industry would police itself. that you didn't have government interference, because that's the last thing anybody wants, is having the government involved in auto repair in that regard, right? I mean, you have the government involved with people that do hair, hairstylists.
Yeah.
You're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
So it was excellent at the time, and I dearly wish that they had used the money to engage in a publicity campaign, raised fees, done whatever was necessary to make sure that the public was aware that if I have a choice between going to a shop that has a certified series of employees and one that doesn't, I'm just going to go to the one that does, because that makes me feel better. But again, right now, general public has no idea. In all the years, 26 years, I got asked about my ASC certifications, or about ASC certifications at the shop, not mine, twice.
Wow.
First time when it became Napa Auto Care, we had to have ASC on staff, and one woman came in and said, "You have ASC certified tech." That was 26 years.
Well, and without the publicity campaign, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know to ask. Like, they don't,
exactly
because
right.
To your point, I like what you shared earlier. Like, it's an assumption. Well, I assume that this quote unquote mechanic can do the job that I'm hoping for. Anna, question for you. So, growing up, did you work in the shop? Was that a thing for you?
Yes, the shop was my first job.
Yeah?
I believe I was 16. And my job was to take my 2002 Toyota Camry and shuttle customers back and forth so that when they were waiting on their car, they didn't have to wait in the waiting room, as well as, answer phones and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I tried doing the accounting. I failed at doing the accounting, so I quickly got taken out of the accounting. It was tough. I'm not going to lie. I was cut no breaks being the boss's daughter. I had to be very early and I had to stay late. But it was a great learning experience. And I can tell you that I've held multiple jobs since then, and they have all been like totally a breeze compared to the standards that were set with the standards that were set working for my dad.
Look, the way we do anything is the way we do everything. And when you got a guy like Dutch Silverstein who is raising the bar and continuing to raise the bar, those standards are there for a reason. And with standards come accountability. And there's a fine line between love and accountability, especially when you're working for your dad.
Yeah.
But accountability is a form of love. And being able to meet and exceed those expectations based on the accountability that he held you to goes a long way. And I want to commend you for doing what I believe is arguably the most important role in a shop. We get to learn the most about our guest in the shuttle vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, because that you become counselor, therapist, coach, student, teacher. You're wearing all the hats in the shuttle vehicles. I'll ask you, Anna, over the years working for your father, what is the greatest or one of the greatest leadership lessons that you learned that you still carry to this day that's helped you professionally as well?
That's a really good question. I think that it's okay and encouraged for things to be hard. For not only, my time in the shop, but really my entire life, my dad has been just absolutely determined. And that's not easy, right? Other people are hanging out on the weekends and he's going to Sam's Club to get refreshments for the waiting room at the shop, or getting motor oil or whatever it is. And it's just never been easy. But I do think that it's instilled in me that a leader is willing to literally do anything to see the success of his company. And I think that's translated from my dad, and not only his company, but in really everything that he does.
That is a testament to hard work paying off.
Yes.
A testament to his leadership. So kudos to you for that, Dutch. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And you've gone through a lot of tough times, Dutch, I'm sure, but tough people do. Talk to the audience about some challenges or tough times in your life where you've been able to adapt and overcome because of your resilience and toughness that Anna just described.
The company that I work for declared bankruptcy twice. And when they did the retirement that I had, over $800,000, was $864,000, was in my account on a Friday and gone on Monday. Because the company came to our union and said, listen, here's the deal. Either you volunteer to surrender your retirement to the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation of America, or Monday morning at 7 o'clock, we'll meet you on the courthouse steps, and we will liquidate the airline because we do not have enough money to meet the funding requirements by law. So that's your choice.
Wow.
And they turned and they left. That's all there was. So everything that I had worked for overnight was gone.
How do you get through that? I mean, like that is something that you said 864. You're never going to forget that number.
Never.
You're never going to forget that number.
Never.
How do you navigate your mindset? How do you navigate life in general? That affects every aspect of your life. How do you
Well,
navigate
the first
through
thing
that?
I did was get bitter. I mean, I was really, really angry and really bitter. And then, I realized that being angry and bitter was, in my mind, justified, certainly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't doing anything to feed my family.
Yeah.
So I put my head down and I went to work. I mean, you don't have
That's all you
a
got.
choice.
Yeah, that's right.
all I did was to have the opportunity to go to work. Because if I was a single man and didn't have obligations, perhaps I would have done something differently. That's not a wife, a great wife, 2 kids. What are you going to do? I'm going to abandon my responsibility, my obligation as a father, and give up and sit on the couch and go, woe is me, those corporate guys suck, and no. No, you don't. You go to work. My family came from a background where the overwhelming majority of them were killed in the Holocaust. They came here with nothing. So who am I to bitch because I lost some money? Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of things, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
My grandmother lost every member of her family.
Yeah.
But this is the reality of what you face. So knowing that, I had to do what's necessary. And that's all you do. You man up. You do it.
Yeah. Well, you talked about facing reality, and what I know is that there are 2 things that we can control each and every day in our life, which is our attitude and our effort. And it's not easy on those tough days, on the tough day that we're alluding to, the tragic days where there is a loss of life. We can still choose what our attitude is going to be that day. We can still, believe it or not, choose positivity. It's definitely not easy. It's way challenging sometimes, but we can choose positivity. We can also provide maximum effort. So I'm not saying give 100%, because there are days that you can't give 100%. The day after you found out that $864,000 was out of your account, I would venture to guess you couldn't give 100% that next day.
I couldn't give 100% for the next 2 months.
I bet.
You think about what do you I mean, this is not something that I ever expected. It was, when you look and you're planning on your life and you're doing the things, retirement was sacrosanct. And what had happened was that, and a buddy of mine's father was in the sheet metal workers union, and what happened when his retirement, the company would take the money and deposit it in a separate bank account, completely separate. Mm-hmm. The company I worked for, that was known as a notational entry on the books. So the money was still in their possession. If the money had been transferred out of their possession to a separate bank, and why didn't that happen? Because of the guys that I was with in the union decided that being a professional organization meant they didn't have to take the same steps to safeguard the money as the sheet metal workers union.
Just knowing that almost adds insult to injury. It's like, it could have been avoided.
Oh, it absolutely could have been avoided.
That's tough. Anna, one of the questions I ask every guest on this episode is, what does leadership mean to you? And we got a guy here who has gone through a lot. He's grown through a lot. He has made an incredible impact across our industry. So I know that you've seen a lot of incredible things that your father has done, not only for this industry, but just in your life. I'll ask you, what does leadership mean to you, having a father like Dutch and learning the things that you have learned over the years from him?
For me, it's looking up to somebody and thinking, I will never be that person. I will never even come close to being that person, but I'm going to try every day to get as close as possible. A leader is somebody that you feel like, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. They're so amazing, and I'm so, encouraged every time I'm around them, and I want to be more like them. And I don't think I ever can, because they're so unique and charismatic, and they're so excellent at what they do. And you just want to surround yourself with them and be more like them every day, despite feeling like, maybe you could or could not ever reach that level.
One of the questions I love to ask every client that I work with is for them to ask themselves this question: does my team feel the weight of my title or the influence of my leadership? And you're talking about how you feel the influence of your father's leadership. You feel the influence of others' leadership. And by the way, other people feel the influence of your leadership as well, because you're also unique and you have your own individual perspective, which makes you one of one. So since you have your own perspective, that makes you influential. And in other words, you're contagious. You can either infect or you can affect. And you can affect change, which makes you a change agent, which makes you a leader. Every change agent is a leader. So I want to say this. First, I appreciate you sharing your answer. To me, it reminds me of Kobe Bryant, like the Mamba mentality, where it's like this relentless pursuit of perfection, knowing you're never going to attain it, but you're going to work your tail off trying. And you're going to, and the good news is the name of the game, like practice doesn't make perfect, but practice does make progress. And you're making progress over time. So first I want to share that with you. But secondly, I want to encourage you to know that you are also influencing people in great ways because you are a change agent as well. Dutch, I'll ask you this question now. What is the best advice that you have ever received from a coach or a mentor?
When I first got in 1992, when I first became a captain, one of the senior guys that I looked up to for many years, I had flown with him when I was his co-pilot, and now I had upgraded. He pulled me aside. He said, "I want you to remember something, son," because he was son. "I want you to remember something, son. You can delegate all the authority in the world, your role as captain, and none of the responsibility."
You know what? So when I taught at the Fueling Connections event, and I'm not sure if you're gonna remember this, but when I was doing a session on delegation, I was sharing that we get to delegate responsibility, and you came up to me later and said, "Hey, we're not delegating responsibility, we're delegating authority."
Right.
And I want you to know, since that moment, I've changed my presentation because of you.
Oh, excellent.
Well,
Okay.
because ultimately, I agree with you, man. Like, what we're doing is, as a leader, I'm delegating authority, which means that you are in charge of all of these things. I'm no longer in charge of it, but I'm responsible for all of it.
Yep.
And so it was that paradigm shift that you gave me that I really want to thank you for, and I appreciate you for. Here's a tougher question. What's the best advice you've ever received from your daughter, Anna?
From Anna?
Putting you on the spot. Yes, sir.
Calm down, Dad. It'll be okay.
When emotions are high, logic is low.
That's the thing. She's the glue that, and she gives me a look. She can also make me laugh when I'm absolutely livid. She gives me a look, and I will just lose it.
That's special.
I would just lose it. So she knows that. She does that.
That's special. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
It is, because she will mitigate between my son, because my son and I butt heads off, and she will just walk in and go, "This is what's going on. That's what's happening. Be done with it." And then she turns around and leaves.
Hey, that right there is leadership. That's emotional intelligence. That's situational awareness. It's self-awareness, and it's the ability to bring people together and teach people how to disagree without being disagreeable.
So that's I'm grateful for that, because I don't East European this hothead for times. There's my way.
Yep.
Which happens also concurrently to be the right way, which surprisingly is the only way
So interesting.
that it's going to happen.
So what you're saying is Dutch's way is the right way, of course, and which also is the only way. There's no other way.
There is no other way to accomplish the task that I set before you.
It's
now
funny.
you may come up with the correct result, but you didn't do it right.
Such a PC way of saying it could be different. You mentioned it's the hot-headedness in you. My wife blames this on her being a Scorpio, and I don't know if I don't really think it has anything to do with that. But what's interesting enough, and maybe I should have had Jean-Vier, my wife, join us here, because what I've learned is that it's actually always her way, and her way is always the best way. So now I'm really confused. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
well,
pretty much it.
Silverstein fam, thanks for joining us. Hopefully this will not be.
Having us.
Well, thank you, and hopefully this won't be our last time on the podcast together. Anna, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
What a pleasant surprise! I knew I was going to interview Dutch. I didn't know that you're going to be joining, so I'm so thankful that you joined us.
Hey, me either.
It was awesome. and you did great. You were amazing. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for tuning in. As you know, every episode we look to transform our leadership skills by tapping into unrecognized potential to achieve limitless results. So thanks again for tuning into the Limitless Leadership Podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Don't forget to smile today. Tell your loved ones how much they mean to you. I'm Josh Parnell, reminding you to keep leading well.